of games did you play
I played basketball.
as a kid?
I got kind of, well, I started out by playing Run Sheep Run and Capture the Flag.
I see.
And I got older, I played baseball and basketball, but primarily football. Football was my game, my main game.
That was your favorite? Football was your favorite?
Football was the favorite, yeah.
And what position did you play?
Running back.
And you played football in high school?
Yes. And I don't know how good I don't think I was all that good. The school was kind of small. So, but that was the main sports I liked.
What was your first bike?
What?
What was your first bike?
Bike?
Bicycle.
I never owned a bike.
Oh.
I had a chance to buy one for $5, but my folks didn't have $5, so I didn't get a bike.
How old were you when you couldn't get this bike?
Probably 12, 13.
Did you really want it, or you just kind of wanted
I really wanted it.
it? That's too bad.
At that particular time, my folks had bought a farm, and the payments were $100 a year. We had to let it go back because we didn't have $100 to make a payment.
Okay.
What was the age again?
He was 12.
Oh.
At that time, my dad was very sick with cancer, and he was actually he was terribly sick with cancer. And he most of the work that was done, for instance, I didn't go to school half the time, and I worked for WPA and to support the family.
Right.
And I worked for we found a place to live, and I worked for our rent for a place to live. And I didn't go to school very much, to high school.
So, Gramps, have you ever roller skated or ice skated?
Yes, I really enjoyed ice skating. That was something that I never had. I don't think I ever had a pair of shoe skates. I had skates you could clamp onto the bottom of your shoes. And I don't think I ever had a pair of regular shoe skates, but I enjoyed that.
And where would you go to ice skate?
Oh, on a farm, and there was rivers and lakes and little irrigation ponds and all kinds of stuff around there that you could ice skate on. And as a result of enjoying the ice skating, when I later on in life, when I got to the point where I could afford it, I did quite a bit of roller skating.
Getting it all down, Dino?
Yes. What did your dad do for work?
Well, my dad and mom got married. They moved from Iowa to Montana, to Dodson, Montana, and homesteaded a place. And this place was he spent borrowed money, or somehow or another he was able to plant the place, and the hailstorm came and knocked out his crops, so he didn't have any money. So then he went to Casper, Wyoming, and worked in a refinery as a still cleaner. He just cleaned the inside of stills. It was a peculiar work. He only worked about 3 hours because it was so hot in the stills, cleaning out these stills, that a person could only work about 3 hours a day. And he did that. And when he got enough money, he sent my mom some money, and we took a train from Dodson, Montana to Casper, Wyoming, and we lived in Casper, Wyoming until he got sick, and then we came to Idaho. And when we came to, he first wanted to go up to northern Idaho, and he couldn't find a place up in northern Idaho, and he finally found it. What we did, he had a Model T Ford, and we got in a Model T Ford and put a tent in a Model T Ford, and we traveled from Casper, Wyoming to northern Idaho, and he couldn't find what he wanted for what he could afford.
And you were living out of a tent as you're going along?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. And you have everything you own
What?
do you have everything you own in your car?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, except my dad had built, while he was working in Casper, he built a house. And he thought, and for some reason or other, he built another house. And he sold, the last house he sold for $500.
All right.
But I don't know if he ever collected I think he sold it on time for $500.
Okay.
And somebody, I think, was supposed he probably got $100 down or something like that. And somebody was supposed to have paid him the money, but I don't know that he ever collected it. I think he probably figured on using this money to buy this farm in Eagle, Idaho. And then we lived there until they foreclosed on, and then we found a place where we could live, and for my labor shoveling ditches for the owner. Owner had an extra house on his farm, and he let us live there for me working on that, cleaning ditches and shoveling manure and pitching hay and doing insulation and all this farm work that had to be done.
Sure.
And I went to school about half the time, I'd say.
Was that unusual for a high school kid to go to school only half the time, or did a lot of the farmer children do that?
The Depression was on, and we had to survive, and at that time the government had some work programs for people that didn't have anything. Well, my dad was too incapacitated to do this work progress administration. Oh, we built dikes and rivers, and we built bridges, and we did road work and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I did, and they paid us for it. The maximum amount you could make on WPA was $44 a month. And of course, that was more than you could make anyplace else. So my dad being sick, he couldn't do it, so they let me, even though I was an underage kid, you might say, well,
Right.
they let me do it for this. I don't know if we ever got $44 a month, but we got whatever we were allowed to make on this. And when I wasn't working, I'd go to school. But it was a small school, and they recognized that what the situation was, and they just let me go to school, you know. So that's what I did until my dad died. When my dad died, he had an insurance policy, $1,500. So my mom took the $1,500 and came to Boise, and bought a little house. And isn't that nice? It had a bath, and had a house with a bath before. I think the houses that my dad built in Casper, Wyoming had baths, but other than that, I'd never had a bath. You know, you put a tub in the middle of the kitchen floor and you took a bath. And so my mom bought this little house, and it had a bath in it. She'd used this $1,500, and it had a big backyard.
And how old were you at this time?
17.
17 when your dad passed away and you moved to Boise.
17.
Okay.
And at that time, my mom bought this little house.
And where was that house?
What?
Where in Boise was that house?
It was called 6th Street. It was, you know where Orchard is?
Sure.
You know where Garden is?
Uh-huh.
Okay, it was between Orchard and Garden on 6th Street, which would be about 6 blocks north, 6 or 8 blocks north of Franklin Road, between Garden and Orchard. And there was a half acre there, and so there were some old buildings on the back of this house, and we raised chickens and sold chickens and eggs. And the neighbor had a big lot too, and so we got a cow, and the neighbor let me put the cow on their backyard to keep the grass down. And we sold eggs and milk and chickens, and I also worked as there was a horticulturist, and he had me help him when he had work for me at building sprinkler systems and putting in lawns and stuff like that.
Neat.
So and my mom worked at I think at that time she was working for the air base here, doing something. So between what I made on these cows and chickens and stuff and what she made at this air base, why then I went to school on a full-time basis then here to Franklin High School.
Okay.
Until I graduated from Franklin High School.
What's your next question, Dean?
All right, number 5. What was your first car?
My first car, Model T Ford.
That's a pretty special first car right there.
I don't know whatever happened to that Model T Ford.
Like a Model T. Like,
That's just what they called it, you know. Instead of calling a car, you know, instead of saying it's a model Charger or a model Journey, they just leave the word model off nowadays.
huh. Are you recording this?
Yes, I am.
Clever.
The later on, something happened.